this Tuesday night, late night, Michigan basketball, and it was worth staying up. If you stayed up, they got the win by one, 58-57 over Penn State. I'm Dennis Fithian, joined by Jim Scarcelli. Scar, was it that close? It ended up being a one-point game. Was it that close?
Yeah, I mean, we were behind 10-11 at one time in the first half, not playing smart. Got things together, finished strong at the end of the half, and found a way to win, man. We did not play our best game at all. We did not play very smart, in my opinion. Our defense, but we played good defense, and we found a way to win, man, but we did not play smart. Hunter was not very good on the low block. I thought he would really dominate tonight, but hey, it's a win. It's a good win. It's a road win in the Big Ten. We come home to Purdue and get things rolling at home.
Yeah, they can't afford to lose this game tonight, and they didn't. But it looked like, through 75% of the first half that they were going to. They didn't seem to, show a lot of emotion and fight. And, you talked about the defense. There was a couple. Kobe Buffkin came in, and he looked like he had some trouble guarding. It looked like there were some careless turnovers. They weren't shooting well. And on the other side, Penn State, their guards were a lot of blow-bys, and they're up by, talking about Penn State, they're up by 11 with 3.5 to go. And this is looking like, wow, man, Michigan's season is going to end here on a whimper, but you mentioned it, they hit a couple shots. Brandon Johns hit a couple. Caleb Houston hit one, and they end up going on an 11-0 run to pull even at the half. And, that was really, you'd say, the biggest part of the game. They ended up putting up a 22-5 run with that 11-0 that carried over to the second half. And then, they really just hung on there at the end. I'm looking at some of the plays, if there was one or the other. Dickinson and Diabate had some rebounds in there that they were able to get some stick backs, but really Sessom, their guard, he lost it out of bounds. They missed a three. He missed another layup, and, that was that. Michigan's able to hang on and get this win.
Yeah, we've been the team that made some mistakes down the stretch, but tonight, Penn State made some mistakes down the stretch there. But, just looking at things, I really thought Hunter would have a really good game on the low block because they don't have the size. They don't have, big Kofi down there. They don't have big Edie down there. I thought Hunter, and he had a rough time. He did some things away from the bucket, but Hunter was very average. Still with the moving screens, God. And I think the game plan against Michigan for a lot of teams is really to make Hunter play defense away from the basket. A lot of teams are doing that. But, Sessions is good. That kid's it seems like he's been playing there for the last 10 years. He's a good guard. And you pointed out Buffkin. I don't understand why he's covering him at the half court line. Then he's just taking him to the hole. Give him a little room. But, Sessions is a good player. He kind of cooled off in the second half. But, a lot to get into here.
Well, and I think, for people that are watching and listening to this, when it comes down to Michigan, they're up against it if they're getting into the NCAA tournament. But, there's good news and bad news. They've got 9 games to go. 5 of those games are against Big Ten teams that are ranked currently. They got Purdue. They're ranked number 3. They got Ohio State coming up this weekend. They're ranked. You start going down the list, they got to play Illinois at Wisconsin. Those 2 teams are ranked. Michigan State, is as well. If they had Selection Sunday, this Sunday, Iowa would be in the tournament. They got to play them twice. So they've got a lot of the good news is they got a lot of games that if they win 1 or 2 of those, the fortunes turn around quickly. But, they can't afford, to lose too many. They might be able to get by with losing, 4 of those. Maybe. That would be like that's going to put them right on the bubble. They need a bunch of things to happen. You couldn't be upset if you were there on Selection Sunday. That's if they lose, 4 more games. But, they moved to 12-9 and 6-5. And, they've got these big time games coming up. I think we'll know, they get flattened or, I don't know if it cares if, how much they lose by, but if they lose to Purdue, and Ohio State. These games coming up, these next 2 games are at home. I mean, they got to win these games, I would think.
Hey, Denny, it's very realistic to think that we could win. I think we got 5 of the last 9 at home, right? Or maybe even
They
6.
got a lot of them at home. No, you're right.
Yeah.
They do. They got the next 2 at home. They got
win.
Iowa at home. They got Michigan State at home. They got Illinois at home. So, yeah, a lot of those teams that I mentioned that are in the top 25 are at home. You're right.
I mean, it's not a stretch to say, okay, let's win our home games, and maybe we can go to Wisconsin and win. You know, Michigan State got beat tonight. Illinois looks like they're getting crushed pretty good by Purdue. So, you know, hey, let's win our home games. You know, we got a good stretch at home. We saw we can play with Purdue. Let's make some adjustments, be on our home court, get our crowd. But hey, look, Penn State is a below average Big Ten team. They don't have the players. They don't have the size. I mean, it's a good win. You go on the road and win, but we got to play a lot smarter than we did tonight.
Yeah,
I thought our defense in general was our shot blockers were a factor in there. We got to get better with the entry pass, getting the entry pass down to Hunter. I don't know how, you know, it's frustrating. It's so frustrating. You know, he's a 7'2" kid, and I think he's doing a good job of establishing position. And we just have so many turnovers like that. We had a bunch of them against Michigan State, and I know the coaches see it, but we had a lot of trouble with that entry pass.
Well, they pulled Caleb Houston out late in the game because he threw one kind of recklessly down there, and then he lost it down on the baseline. You know, they pulled him out for Terrence Williams late in the game, and you know, I think that's the thing. Like, you start thinking about, you know, this is the stretch run. I mean, you got to play your best basketball here. You know, you can't be a freshman anymore. You got to have your confidence, and you know, they need some punch from the bench. You know, Brandon Johnson, Caleb Houston, like, you know, those guys are important to this team. You know, they got to come up, make some shots, and you know, they weren't doing that in the first half. And then, you know, here they were in just a 3-minute stretch that, you know, that put them, you know, right back in the game, had them tied at the half when, you know, they were limping in there, and you know, it put them right back in the game. That was the huge part, you know, the last 3 minutes of the first half in this ball game here. But, you know, they can't afford to come out of the gates against Purdue and, you know, give away possessions. And, you know, they got to start playing their best basketball. You know, they played one, you know, I don't know, they played a really good game at Indiana. Other than that, there's been some stretches in some games, but they haven't played a complete game. That's got to change, you know, starting Thursday night.
Yeah, there's you're absolutely right. I'm looking at Brooks. I thought Brooks was pretty sound. He had some good scoring in the first half. You know, he's very, very few mistakes.
Hit some free throws at the end, hit a jumper at the end. Yeah.
Yeah. And, you know, it's good to have a guy we can, you know, when we got to make free throws at the end, you know, that we get the ball to him, and he's always going to be strong at the foul line. And I thought we did a lot of I thought maybe Jawan did a lot offensively of trying to keep the ball in his hand a lot more than normal, and trying to play a 2-man game with him and Hunter. I think that's a great offense for us. But you talked about Houston. He was pretty sound in the first half, and then second half he had a travel, a bad entry, he caught a rebound at the end, then he jumps out of bounds, and that was the first time I've seen Jawan take him out of the game at the very end of the game. You're right. You had Williams in there, and you know, Williams did some decent things, but you know, he drove to the basket. It would be great if that kid really gets going and really gets some confidence, where he's a guy you can really count on. But but I thought, I thought Williams, you know, he's good on defense. He's a good rebounder. And if we can get him going, that definitely help out our depth.
Yeah, Houston did hit the front end of that 1-and-1 late. You know, that was big. You know, they get down there and you're in the 1-possession game or whatever it was. You know, it's a 3-point, so it was a 1 possession that ended up, you know, putting them up by 5 there. I mean, those were big free throws, so that could be something for him. But you know what? Now that you've got 9 games and, you know, you've put yourself in the spot that you are, I mean, these are tournament games now. If they want to play in the NCAA tournament, they can't play another game like tonight on Thursday. They can't do that coming up on Saturday. I don't know if there's another game that they can play like they did tonight and escape with a win. So it's time. If there's a switch to flip, they got to flip it. I know coaches like you, Scar, they don't just flip switches. It's usually born out of hustle and defense and playing as a team and all that. But whatever it is, they got to do it. They can't play like they did tonight moving forward. But
yeah, you can't follow the guy like Terrence Williams at the 3-point line with 4 seconds left.
No,
that was incredible. So that was just but hey, you won the game and you played one of your I thought we played one of our dumbest games. Just dumb mistakes. Hunter's still with the illegal screens. We got to clean that up. But Brendan Johns is getting some clock, not as much as he had. He did a couple decent things. Buffkin saw a little bit of time. And I think maybe defensively, like you pointed out, might have been the reason he comes out of the game. Frankie Collins didn't play much at all. It's obvious the game plan is don't cover him. And I don't know why Juwan just doesn't tell him drive, because he's such a good driver. I don't care if they back off him. He's still going to beat people to the hole because they're going to let him shoot. But he's got to be a driver. But I love Diabate's defense. I love his rebounding. He's his fouls, most of the time, his fouls are aggressive fouls. And as a coach, I could live with a lot of the stuff he does. It's the moving screen stuff that pisses you off as a coach. But Diabate's fouls are many times rebounding and trying to get the second shot. And I still don't understand why he's taking threes, but because his low post game was pretty good tonight. He did score a couple times down there. But I just love his effort, and he's really improved his free throw shooting.
Yeah, well, you know what? I think if you're Juwan Howard, they're getting ready to get on their flight home. You say, hey, good job being able to get the W. But late in that game, the announcers are like, both teams shot 21% in the second half. I mean, there'd be a lot of things they'd look on that tape and say, wow, man, we can't do this, we can't do that. We got to shoot better. We got to cut down on the turnovers. We need more from the bench, and we got to execute, all those things. They got to do pretty much everything better, and they definitely got to start better. And yet, they're able to get a win. So they survive till Thursday, but it's go time now. 9 games to go. The margin, they can't play anything. I'll just say it one last time, man. They can't play like they did tonight and expect to beat these teams that are in the top 25. So it's time. They want to make the tournament. Look, preseason expectations and everything else, a lot of people are down on them. I get that. But if they were to somehow find a way to make the tournament, to me, that's the bar. For this team, it's for most every team. You're able to get into the tournament. That's That's the goal there. You've had a good season if you're able to do that. Now, some teams, like this was one that was looked at that could make a big run, but we saw that wasn't going to be the case, early on. So it would be a good season if somehow this team was able to come up and find a way to get into the tournament. I don't think that's happening. Watching this team, play through 21 games now, they don't seem like they have the scoring punch to be able to do that. They don't have the defense and on the bench, but here we are. I mean, this is the time now, after this, we got a little taste of it this past Saturday, Scar, with no pro football besides the 2-hand touch game, the Pro Bowl. Now people start paying attention. This is for a lot of sports fans. This is when they start watching college basketball. Yeah. When they get into all right, football's over. I got to watch something else. How are these basketball teams doing? They'll tune in and watch Michigan maybe on Saturday and say, whoa, man, this team, what's going on? So hopefully,
I tell you though, Danny, we're sitting 6-4 in the Big Ten right now. Okay, respectable, 6-4.
Is it 6-4 or 6-5?
I thought we were 5-4 coming. Maybe you're right. Maybe it is 6-5. But if we can win, if we can get 6 of these last 9, and like I said, we can get the home games. I think we got a shot, man. It was interesting. The announcer talking about that last 3-pointer at the end of the game, how that shot mattered for a lot of people because the line was 2. Penn State was getting too. So that was an issue there. And I know some people were talking, some of my friends were talking about betting, but yeah, hey, if we come in, I tell you the thing about this Michigan team, we don't know what we're going to get shooting. We just don't know. Are we going to get the team that went to Indiana, the team that went to Nebraska? We just don't know what we're going to get. We're capable of doing those things. Let's see what happens, man.
Yeah, they move. Michigan does to 12-9 and 6-5 in the conference. Let me just give you those upcoming games, Scar. I'll let you do some. You just talked about the odds makers and everything else. Let's just have you play win-loss here for these rest of the games in February. Michigan, taking on Purdue coming up Thursday. You got that one as a win or a loss?
Oh boy, Michigan beat an underdog. I'm going to put a win on that one just because we're at home. I am. I'm sorry, but I'm going to put a win on it. We went there. We played them tough. I think we'll be smarter. We're at home. It's the Big Ten. We're at home. So I'm going to say right now that I think we can win every single one of our home games. I'm going to say that I think we can.
All right. Well, that includes Ohio State. They come in on Saturday, so you got Michigan winning that.
Ohio State. When I watched them early in the year, I thought they were not going to be as good as they were last year. And then I watched them last week. I'm like, damn, they look good. That's going to be a tough game, but we got every opportunity to win the game. I don't see Ohio State coming into our home court, beating us up, but we could win that game. We're on our home court, shooting on our rim. It's going to be a toss-up. Same with Purdue. We just got to make shots that we didn't make at Purdue. We got to make those shots on our home court, and we can.
2 road games next week. A week from Thursday, it's down in Iowa City against Iowa, and then the following Sunday, a week from Super Bowl Sunday, to Madison to take on Wisconsin, a team that went into East Lansing tonight.
Those games are going to be a lot tougher. But I'm going to say we're going to struggle at both of those places, but because I've seen them play. I don't think Iowa is as good as they were last year. They're a beatable team. We could go there and steal. If we're going to steal a road game, that's one we could get. But they're good, but they're not as good as they were last year. And Wisconsin, what are we going to get? They got beat by 20 at home against Michigan State. I watched that game, and they go there and played really smart tonight and beat Michigan State tonight. So both those games will be tough. I would if I'm betting, I'm not betting on Michigan, but we could steal one of them.
Yeah, and the remaining 2 games of the month are both in Ann Arbor. Rutgers, which beat Michigan earlier to start out January, and then Illinois to close out the month.
Illinois they're not as good as they were last year. I think that what's the kid playing with the how do you say his name? The guard last year. He's gone. He was a big part of their team.
Sumu.
Yeah. I think both those games are winnable. The Rutgers has got all them guys back, but we're on our home court, man. We could win. We could and should beat Rutgers, and we could beat Illinois. Illinois plays really good defense. That guy's a great coach. I was so impressed with him. I was watching him when he was at Oklahoma State. He's a good coach.
Underwood. Yeah, well, you know what, Scar, you picked me up here. You got Michigan with stealing that one at Iowa and protecting their home floor, going 5-1 here. Their tournament profile is going to take get a huge boost if they follow the Scar selling plan for the rest of February. So that's what I want to see. You got a final thought here on this game or anything else going on with Michigan?
I'm sure Juwan is happy. It's over. We did not play smart. Our defense was above average, but defending Penn State is not like defending Purdue. It's not like defending Illinois. So we did what we had to do. We got it done. Getting better, winning on the road, we'll take it.
All right, Scar, we'll see you on and talk with you on Thursday. Have a great day.
Hey, Denny, we are fired up about what's happening with this Michigan football coaching staff. I like what I'm seeing. The defensive coordinator is a smart guy, been around. I think we're going to run what we've been running We got another smart guy coming in, and I'm like what I'm seeing.
All right, we'll get to it on Thursday. Take care, Scar.
All right, Denny.
See ya.